Welcome back to another edition of the Surly Talk Sports Podcast, the review podcast brought to you by the TAB and Michelob Ultra. Shout out to the TAB. Received a fair few winning bet slips off the weekend over the back of that prop code. Fair few Tommy Turbos, which hit nice and early. A few blokes actually tipped me in on that one, but I didn't believe in the Foz effect, so didn't jump on. Regretted that one. Fozball. Shit, did that work out? We'll touch on that shortly. A great long weekend too. A couple of Michelob Ultras devoured. Actually shot up north. Played a bit of golf. One great round, one dusty round. Played a bit of Ambrose on the Saturday, which was good fun with a couple lads that live next door to the in-laws batch up north. So that was a good laugh. And yeah, watched a shit ton of sport. Not a lot of Super Rugby, but we will touch on that shortly. A couple cool things that happened in the sporting world as well. We have an NCAA women's basketball champ.
Not many. We haven't been able to say that ever.
No, we haven't been able to say that ever. 8.5 million people tune into that game.
Well, it's nuts. I think college sport, they just do it so well over there.
They do. Charlisse Ledger-Walker. Yep. Not just participated either, a key part of that UCLA team.
Did her ACL the year before, so spent a full year out. So she got an eligibility thing where she
almost like right?
Yeah, almost like the year 14 in New Zealand of how when you get the eligibility to play an extra year because
the Bryn Hall effect.
Yeah.
You do double seventh form just to make New Zealand schools.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, gotcha. Because, she did ACL but transferred, right?
I'm not taking anything away from
her.
No,
absolutely not. Yeah,
it's
24
the opposite.
years
I'm
old.
just saying and how good is to be able to bounce back after an ACL and...
Yeah, elite. And now declaring for the WNBA draft as well, which will be cool to see. Loved the live crosses to her on the news. She's in the back seat. Whole team's giving a shout out to the Kiwis. You can tell that they love her. Hamilton born and raised. So, yeah, pretty elite stuff from her and a great news story right there. But let's rip into the NRL because I think that was the main talking point from the weekend. I call it God's game, and it was almost biblical that it dished up the games that it did, especially on your Easter Monday. But we'll start Thursday night, Fozball. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I think we both tipped the Dolphins.
Yeah, we did. We also tipped the fact that we thought the Manly would have a new manager bounce. We tipped that bit a part of it.
Yes, we got that part right. We did not predict they would be up 52 points to nil with 10
definitely didn't do
minutes
that.
to go. And I saw one punter at 750 to 1 had $100 on Manly to win by 50 or more points.
Where are you getting $100 to put that on?
That is crazy
in
stuff.
this day and age.
Money laundering, you reckon?
Well, I just say, who does that?
They were up for like 75k. Did you see that bet slip? That was insane. Imagine how gutted you would be because those 18 points just came when Manly had already put the queue in the rack. They pulled off some of their starters and they were chilling. What a performance from Manly, though. I feel like Turbo has been great this whole season. It just hasn't been as highlighted because Manly have been pretty shit. But, man, whatever Kieran Foran said to these lads pre-game, you talk about an instant lift. And if you're Anthony Seibold, you're sitting back in your lounge just thinking, shit, these blokes really did not like me. But it's interesting, right? When you think of Kieran Foran, you think of a bloke that was willing to do anything for any team he was in. He was as tough as shit and the ultimate competitor. And he seemed like all his teammates loved him. And clearly he has carried that over instantly in his coaching role. Those are the type of interim coaches that you get a lift from, right? Guys that everyone in the locker room, even Fogarty was saying I've only been at Manly for 5 games, but I respect the shit out of this bloke.
Yeah, and you could see instantly that they played more direct, ran on the line, took on the line a bit more. There was a bit more oomph in their game and new manager bounce. And sometimes I feel bad for managers that get sacked.
Yeah,
and
I
that
felt
sort
sorry
of
for Steve.
Because it's like not a lot in that 7 days can be changed enough to you can sit there and go, shit, that guy's such a bad coach and shit, that guy's such a good coach. Like I look at it in football now, Chiefy with the Phoenix. Chiefy left and now all of a sudden Chris Greenacre's like the man and it's like, yes, there's a little bit of new manager bounce and stuff, but it doesn't mean that it's all changed in those 7 days. So I sort of feel bad for Seibold and coaches that get sacked, but shit, did they look good on Thursday night.
It's going to be interesting. If they win 3 or 4 more games with performances like that over the next 2 months, Manly, he's an interim coach, and they've said Matt DeBellin, Brad Arthur, all these other guys keen on the role.
McInnes.
Yeah, they might have to lock up Foz, though, if they keep getting this type of response, and then that's a dangerous position, right? Because eventually this bounce back is going to wear off. But I thought they were unreal. I am concerned for the Dolphins. I had them in 6th, I think, in my preseason predictions. A lot of people had them higher than that, but I think the genuine consensus amongst all league fans was that they were a top 8 side. And for me, apart from one performance where they were really dominant, they have looked pretty patchy with a roster that is amazing on paper. They're just not quite clicking. Like, this was bang average from them. As good as Manly were, the Dolphins were awful.
Yeah, and we were high on them in preseason. I don't think we were as high as what other people were on them. I think we both sort of had them around the 6th
I think,
spot.
6th mark,
or I might have had them in 5th. I can't remember. But it was in and around that. But they're just not playing good enough footy.
No.
Like, they've got the players, and it almost feels like they've got the razzle-dazzle, but not the, like, battle-hardened Warriors type vibe that we talk a lot about in Surly Set of 6. But it's an odd one. I feel like they will get it right eventually.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when, and hopefully it's not too late.
Good win to start with against the Bunnies.
Yeah.
40 points to 30. Scraped home against the Titans by 4 points. Pumped the Sharks, which was the one I was high on.
Yeah, so they're not being woeful. What are they?
Then,
3 and...
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, though,
3 and 2?
26-12 and then 52-18.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much 52-6, 52-12 if you factor in, like, those tries were in garbage time. I just thought that they would start the season a whole lot hotter than they have. And, look, it's round 5. We spoke about this in Silly Set of 6 as well, that it's not time to burn the bridges yet. Things are still okay. There's plenty of time to turn things around. I expected Isaiah Katoa to take another leap. I thought with Flegler back in that pack, Gilbert and co, that they would be maybe 4-1, 3-2, not the other way around.
Yeah, it's not panic stations for many teams. It's just worrying signs, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't really make sense, but it sort of does. Like, you should be worried a little bit about how you're playing and what you can change to make it better, but it's not like panic stations as in we need to sack a coach.
One of those teams.
Yeah.
Friday night.
Yeah.
Bulldogs. I am worried for them. They went down 32 points to 24 to the Bunnies, and it was a close game. It was a good contest, but to me, the more I watch the Bulldogs week by week, the more questions I have because they seem uncertain around what they're doing in their halves. Like, Crichton goes off injured. Bronson Cherry's sitting on the bench. On comes Sean O'Sullivan. They move Matty Burden out to the centres. Why carry Bronson Cherry if you're not going to use him when a centre gets injured? And that's his preferred position. On that side too, that's exactly where he would go in and rip up. I found that a little bit bizarre. This whole halves thing still leaves me with more questions. I wanted them to go O'Sullivan and Galvin from the jump, and I thought that was going to be their best halves pairing right there, move Burden out into the centres, and that's what they ended up finishing the game with. But there must be so much confusion in that camp, right? It'll be interesting tonight, team naming Tuesday, to see what they do with Critter out with that AC joint. They need to make a call, and they need to roll with it. Like, is Galvin your 7? Or is he actually a 6, which is what everyone is saying, and then you need a Sean O'Sullivan? This time last year, they were coming first. Toby Sexton had them running. Like, it wasn't just him, right? But they were coming first, and they were the talk of the comp. Now they are in 10th, and they completed at 61% in that game on Friday night. They have so many attacking threats, but when you think Bulldogs footy, you think strong defence, you think complete your set, similar to us. Seraldo runs a similar game plan to Webby. It's all a part of that Penrith system. I feel like they don't look like themselves at the moment. They're getting killed through the middle. Satili Tupanua, their only real middle forward. Like, they've still got Kikau and Preston who look
He's
dangerous.
not even really a middle forward.
Exactly. He's a second rower that's become a middle, but he's the only one really giving them any go forward and aggression up the guts. I just think they've looked pretty bang average, and if I were their fan base, I think you have more questions than positives at the moment, which is not a position you want to be in this early in the season because shit can spiral pretty quickly.
Yeah, you've explained it pretty much perfectly, I think, from what I was saying. Just questions, like, just all over the park. Every sort of position you're going, shit, I don't even know what they're doing there. Like, it just doesn't, like, looks directionless almost. So it's an interesting one. For me, I think I've always bang on about this, but I'm of the opinion that they can't be this bad for that long
No.
with how many players they've got.
Oh,
And
like Kikau, Preston,
yeah,
right?
they can't be this
Critter,
bad
Burton.
going forward, but it is worrying signs, yeah.
I expect them to turn it around. I think they just need to bite the bullet on what they're going to do. And maybe even Serraldo needs to come out and be like, we are not moving Galvin. Like, because I feel like now, like the shit they were doing with Crichton, I think we spoke about it the other week, bringing him into the halves on good ball, like, that is just confusing, and it's not good for anyone. If you're a playmaker and you get moved out to the centres for tackle 4, tackle 5, when you want the ball to attack,
You'd be livid.
Yeah, you would be livid. The Bunnies, on the other hand, I thought they looked pretty good without being amazing. That left edge is still deadly, and while Latrell has a couple lazy plays in him, shit, he's a good footballer, especially when things are going well, and he is so dangerous. I actually thought that right edge looked really good too. Tallis Duncan, he is a heck of a footballer, man. Runs a great line, got a great work ethic on him, and I think that right side is really starting to hum too, and it really balances out their attack, right? You can't be completely one-side dominant, and of course, all eyes, opposition defence is going to be on that left edge, but with Tallis Duncan, with Humphreys punching away on that side, I think they're starting to look a little bit more balanced. There's some chat Brandon Smith back this week too, so that'll be a massive in for them, but a good win for the Bunnies. In front of a packed ground, it had a bit of a finals atmosphere in the stands. Looked like a great game to be at. Speaking of finals atmosphere, the Panthers. Holy shit. They were insane. 50 points to 10 against the Storm. The Storm completed at 94%. There were only 2 sets where they didn't complete, and they lost by 40 points. It is mental. The Panthers scored 9 tries, and Cleary and Blaze only combined for 1 try assist. That is just threats all across the park. Casey McLean, what a first half from him. I had a few people message me saying he's our answer to the All Blacks centre problem. Well, look, it's out the gate thinking.
How good is that
He's
thinking?
a Kiwi, but that thinking is, like, he is exactly what you want in a league centre and a rugby centre. He just has razzle, speed, size. He creates for his outsides. He was crazy, and I think he's still only 19 years old. Milky Jenkins with another double, bagged the second one late, which I'm sure a couple people were nervous about for their bet slips. I feel like Isaiah Yeo has gone to another level, carrying the ball a lot more, but shit, he straightens them up. That Scotty Sorensen flick pass, like they've got people in all sorts of positions delivering. No Mitch Kenny, which in the past has been a bit of a recipe for trouble for the Panthers because he leads their defensive line and gets through a shit ton of work. He sets the tone for the game, but I thought Freddie Lussick was really good. Yeah, Cleary was still outstanding. Blaze, great. Man, they are just a juggernaut, and it did get me thinking, that 2021 season when they first kicked off their premiership winning streak, that team was freakish. I am questioning whether this team could well be better.
Yeah, I think you're right to be questioning that. They're just nuts. The skill sets of all of them, like across the paddock, like just unreal. They look like they're just on another planet.
Yeah.
Like they're unstoppable. Like you can't actually fluster them. Like
I was going to say they're almost robotic-like, but in
Yeah.
the best way possible in terms of they're so fit. They almost seem emotionless. Like nothing rattles them.
that's something to me that there's leadership there. There's
Yeah.
leadership there all across the paddock. There's enough tests. There's enough, I don't know, games. There's enough leadership. People that have captained teams. There's with the coaching staff, Ivan Cleary.
Yeah.
To me, it's just a well-oiled machine and stuff that a lot of teams could probably learn off going into this week coming up.
Big time. Have you ever read Ivan's book? It only
No, I
came out
haven't.
last year. I read that and then, or
You'll
even listen to
understand.
it. I think I listened to it as like an audio book on Spotify. You understand.
Oh, straight away.
Like
really.
he talked about Nathan, about Isaiah Yeo, about Mitch Kenny and their mindset around driving standards, but also like refusing to lose and how they lift everyone in their team to that level. Yeah, I think losing last year just fired them up so much. And it's not even their best squad on paper in most recent years, but it seems like you could almost, like Freddie Lussick, he's a good footballer, but you chuck him in there, he looks like one of the best hookers in the comp. It's crazy, but yep, round 13, they'll get beaten by the Warriors, but I can't see them losing a game before then. Heard it here first, Origin window, we will get them. Super Saturday, Dragons 0, Cowboys 32. Scott Drinkwater turned it on, and the Cowboys look pretty good, but shit, the Dragons fans, they are calling for change, and fair enough too. I can kind of understand that from them. Things are not looking positive, and it's hard to take any real positives out of them at the moment. I see as well the Dragons have come out and said they're negotiating, or they're pausing negotiations with Damien Cook, with Moses Sully. They're sorting out their cap, and they're talking about not negotiating with any players now until that November period, which seems a bit mental. I don't know if they're in a position to lose a Damien Cook or a Moses Sully, or probably two of their better players, but yeah, they got Keon going there next year. If I'm Keon, he got wooed by a helicopter trip. I'm trying to backflip ASAP. Link up with Payne Haas. I don't know if the Bunnies can afford it, but yeah, it would be a tough place to recruit people to, and I can't really see how it turns around for them. They don't exactly have big name players to come back into this team.
Well, how Tyrell Sloan's not in their lineup?
Yeah, just sitting on the bench, right? And the camera kept cutting to him.
Bit of a Matt Tomoko type vibe.
Yeah.
They were disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
They were even more disappointing for my tipping.
Yes,
which we'll get to, which was just probably the worst decision I've made in years of tipping, like straight up. So yeah, disappointing. Shane Flanagan, like there's just lots of odd things happening in that squad. Old, slow. It's just, that's what I get from that roster.
Yeah, Cowboys on the other hand with a nice win.
Nice.
Drinky was good. A lot of their big name players stand up. They were decent without blowing anyone away. They did enough to. I think the most pleasing thing for the Cows is probably the nil, right? Because they have, in the years gone by, been able to score plenty of points, but they've been able to link plenty too. They have the Queensland Derby this weekend taking on the Broncos, and a Broncos side who we will get to now. A good win from them, 26 points to 12 against the Titans. The Titans actually stayed in the fight for a lot of this game. I think the biggest talking points, though, have to be the injuries to come out of this one. Reece Walsh with that facial cheekbone injury that's popped up now. He looks to be out for 4 to 6, they are saying, potentially even longer. I think it's the second or third time. I believe he already has a steel plate in there, so a bit worrying for him. Reynolds injury as well, and then Benny Hunt with this PCL, 4 to 6 weeks. That's slightly worrying too. So 3 of their big spine members there gone.
Is that Reynolds like nearly done?
I feel sorry for him.
It has to be.
He's at this age now where
good footballer, great footballer. Yeah, it's not against. Footballer. It's not against that.
I've been harsh on him, but then he came back the other week and looked really good. It's just that age, right? Where little niggles, where you pick them up in your early 20s and it doesn't bother you. But now they really do. And when you start coming back from an injury, picking up something else, back from an injury, something else, mentally it just messes with you as well. I thought Ezra Mam stepped up massively in that second half, and they're going to need him to really perform. I thought Jesse Arthurs was pretty good at the back too. It was good to see him back out there. And the Broncos did look good. I was actually thought the Titans gave them a decent run.
They battled.
I was cracking up that touchy when he put the flag up for
Well, he just didn't put it up. And then he put it up. And then he was like, no. And then he was like, oh, I don't know. Yeah.
He was like, shit, have I just ruined a great try in the bloke's 100th game? It was a great weekend for milestones and first try scorers. I think Liam Henry won 50th.
Was he the first
Liam
try?
Martin, sorry, won 50th, and he dotted down first.
He was, yeah.
And then...
I was going to say Liam Henry. I was like,
no,
sure he didn't.
Yeah, he hasn't played 150. And then Walshy, first game, 100th game.
And I saw that he posted saying he's played 99.5 games.
I saw he was running amok on the green whistle too.
Yeah, he was.
And
pushing a youth. Hospital.
Imagine that. You're broken down at hospital and Reece Walsh is
I love the little comment in the video was, I bet you didn't think you were going to be here doing this after playing.
Right, and I cracked up. People were spraying him, being like, oh, like, actually help push, bro. Use 2 hands, don't film. It's like, fuck it. It is tough to impress people these days. But yeah, good win for the Bronx. Slightly worrying, though. It'd be interesting to see the team they named tonight, for sure. Super Sunday wasn't too super for Warriors fans. Sharks turn it on, 36 points to 22. The flat track bullies come back to hurt us in the biggest way possible. But a humble pie for me in particular. I know you've been off them, Henry, but you actually tipped them out, so well done to you.
Wow, it was about the only good tip I did all weekend.
Yeah, that must feel like a hollow victory too.
It's a weird one.
Yeah.
It's a weird one thinking that was the only one that I got right this weekend when it's probably the only one that I wanted to get wrong.
Yes.
This weekend.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, bit of an odd one.
Tough one. Surly set a 6, of course. We did a 35-plus minute deep dive into this and everything that is going on at the moment. So check that out if you want a thorough review. In summary, a tough watch. I thought it was more disappointing than the Tigers game, which we were in for at least 60 to 70 minutes of that game, and then things just blew out a little bit at the end. For me, in this one, apart from our start to each halves, I thought we were really disappointing. Again, we started those first 5 to 10 minute periods looking like we were going back to our old game plan, rolling up through the middle, coming away with points, completing high. Defense was good, and then we just strayed away from things. Our right edge, much like the Tigers, the Sharks went hard at it, and they got great results. I thought their forward pack rolled through the middle fairly easily at times. Too many errors, didn't complete enough, defended for too long, and in the end it resulted in fatigue. It made our attack fall apart and look pretty shit. And apart from some individual standouts, Dallin, Tanner Stowers-Smith, I thought he was our best player on the day. Sam Healy, only 12 minutes, thought he was good. I thought our bench was good. We mentioned Fish in Surly set a 6. He was up to his usual high standard as well. Tane tried hard amongst a couple errors. I thought his scramble D was really good too, but overall, lots to work on from that one before heading to Amy Park this weekend. I will encourage fans not to crash out too much. It's a disappointing performance and a disappointing result, but I do think this team is good enough to turn it around. And while it is frustrating, it is still only round 5. That round 3 team is still in there from the first 3 rounds. We just need to find it as soon as possible. In particular, I would love to go over to Melbourne and beat the Storm this weekend.
Yeah, some big games coming up. Like, it's not panic stations, but there's definitely some issues that we need to fix and address. I'm sure they will be. There's some disappointing defensive one-on-one tackles. There was some average decision-making. We talk about the leadership as well. It's not like a fault on the leaders from the Warriors, but it's just there was a lack of sort of direction and going away from the game plan during that game, and we saw it against the Tigers as well. So there's some things there that need to change. So looking forward to the weekend where hopefully we'll bounce back.
Yeah, individuals trying to fix team problems for sure. It's interesting, we've got 4 games prior to the bye now. Storm, we've got the Titans at home, Dolphins at home, Para away.
Need 3.
Yeah, need three. Minimum 2, right? You need to, at minimum, bank those 2 home wins. Love to pick up the Storm, and Para will be a punchy game. But I'd
say if we lose this one, we'll beat Para.
Yeah, so then we'll win the next 3.
Yeah.
That would be a good result. Heading into the bye, bit of a refresh, a reset, a chance to actually practice and train. And then we go from there. But
you'll see why you're saying that.
Yeah, well, you will. Surly set a 6. Check that out for a full and thorough debrief. A team that is high right now, the Knights. Sitting in 3rd. Crazy scenes. 32 points to 12 over the Raiders. What a performance. The 2 Fletchers, Fletcher Hunt, Fletcher Sharp, going great. Fletcher Hunt, I just love watching him play. He looks like he is 80 kilos, 70 kilos, dripping wet. Looks like a lad who is tradie, full tradie vibes, mullet. Doesn't look like a professional athlete. Holy shit, he plays with some passion, and he just flies into everything. He does not hold back. He's a great player to watch. I feel like Dom Young, Greg Marju going unreal. Their forward pack, I've been critical of them in terms of on paper, not amazing.
We were during the whole preseason. We were very high, very low on it.
Like Holbrook, though, whatever he has done, like he's moved Frizell to the bench. That's got the best out of him. The edges, that Jermaine McEwen, I underestimated how good of a footballer he is. He was into Hudson Young all game. He's an aggressive bloke. I love Dylan Lucas on that other side. I feel like Saifidi and Trey Mooney, Saifidi in particular, he's wound back the clock a little bit. He's looked great. Phoenix Crosland just tackles all day. Yeah, they're into 3rd with $2.8 million of their salary cap on the sidelines. I think Shannon Smith has been a massive pickup for them. Shitty can run the show. And for the Raiders, geez, they're battling. I see Ricky Stewart was like, we're a tough group. We'll hang in there and we'll fix this ASAP. But yeah, it doesn't seem like they're another team with not many players to come back. No real big changes they can make to turn things around. Like Fogarty, yes, he went to Manly. In came Sanders, but I didn't expect them to be one win, and it was a golden point win in round 1 when they were last year's minor premiers. They are on the ropes for me.
Yeah, they are. I've been high on them. I've been picking them to bounce back, and they just haven't.
No.
Worrying signs, man. Geez, there's a lot of teams that it's like, either really, really good or it's just really worrying signs. Like there's no middle ground at the moment.
It's almost like a sink or swim moment. They're coming early for a lot of teams where you could imagine things fall apart. I don't think Ricky will let that because he's not that type of guy. And that forward pack is still so classy. Guys like KO Weeks, Strange, like they've still got so much talent. I think that's why teams like the Raiders, the Dogs, they seem like they're in worse positions early than perhaps they are, but it's the talent on the rosters that makes you think there's something else at play potentially. Same as the Dolphins, right? Like we're being harsh on these teams, but it's because they have quality players and they should be in and around the 8, but they're just not at the moment, the Raiders, which, I can't work it out because that 4-pack is still playing a pretty decent platform. And then Easter Monday, this is what Monday footy is all about, man. Settling in to watch that game last night was elite, and this game delivered in every single way. 20 points to 22, a golden point finish. The momentum swings in this one. The crowd, this felt like a finals footy game. The Battle of the West, you could tell it meant a lot. Shit, we had para fans trying to call Tigers fans out.
Like it was the two guys on the sideline giving it to them.
Oh, absolute derricks, complete idiots. But he was doing the old meet me in the car park.
Yeah, how good is it?
Mate, I can tell you now, you would not stand a second. The boys would have got toesed up for sure. But there was plenty of passion in this one. And I really enjoyed this game. The full 90-odd minutes that it almost dished up. Jeez, I thought Mitch Moses had milked a penalty there to get himself a big result and get himself the win. I loved how he couldn't kick earlier in the game due to injury, but once the moment became huge, he wanted that, he owned it, and he slotted it over, and I thought he'd kick the game winner, but there were still some plot twists there. Jock Madden, nice little short kick out. Shout out to Whainu who got up and won them the ball. They marched down, they get the penalty. Unfortunately, Dylan Walker giving away the penalty there, and Jock Madden slots it. It's interesting, we were on League Lounge, we're going to do a live cross to the winner. It was meant to be Dylan Walker. It had been queued up all week. I don't think Walks would have been that keen to talk after giving away that penalty and suffering that heartbreaking loss. It was good to have Adam Dewey, though. Seems like a bloody good bloke. And he basically said that they are nowhere near getting carried away, that Benji keeps them so accountable and that they're still playing at 60 to 70% of their potential, which is pretty scary. But I feel like they're a team, when you watch them, they play with so much pride. Like, you can tell that Benji has really instilled in them how important the jersey is and how big effort is. And they have a great balance between youth and experience. Like, they got Uppy there pulling the strings.
Kai Pierce Paul.
Mate, those outside backs are so electric. And then, their second rowers, like, they're a team that can strike from anywhere. With Dream Buller and guys like that, they have strike.
I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league.
Yeah, and he's a great anytime try scorer bet too. He's always paying high 2s, early 3s, so he's a good
He's quality,
on. Yeah, he is quality. The Tiger, they're a really good watch. I enjoy watching Para too, but the Tigers are fast becoming one of my favourite watches, up into second too, which is pretty damn crazy. Shout out to the Eels young lad on debut, Upper Twaidle.
Kiwi bloke?
Yeah, Te Hiranui Apanui Twaidle, full name, from Ngarawahia. Went across early doors over there to give rugby league a crack. Scored the fastest ever try in history on debut, 28 seconds. I dare say he probably scored the fastest ever double as well, because he scored with his first touch and then his third touch. Moved to fullback, looked very at home. Scored 4 tries in New South Wales Cup the week before, and I saw a few para fans being like, why is he on our extended bench? He isn't ready. Well, clearly he is. He looked bloody good, and that first finish wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't. And did you see the fact that he saw that he was in the 19 on Monday, told his mum, called his mum, told his mum that he was in the 19.
Yeah.
And his mum was like, yeah, should I come? And he's like, Nah.
Did she go anyway, though?
Yeah, she did end up going. And
that's
he was
mother's intuition.
He was like, nah, I'm not going to play. Or if I do, like, it's all good. I'm focusing, like, I'm ready to play, but I don't need you here.
Yeah, and like,
good.
As a back cover like that, you don't expect to come on, do you, though? Bailey Simonson, horrible injury. Former New Zealand 7-star. Sad to see him go off. Tackled in the air, and that ankle just absolutely folded. She was facing the wrong direction at some stage, so that was a little bit tough as well. But yeah, enjoying watching the Tigers. That was a bloody good way to finish out the round.
Yeah, it was. Should we move on to our tipping?
Yes.
Just quickly, we'll give you your flowers, and then we can quickly move on.
Perfect. So we both went the Dolphins. Unfortunate there. I went the Bunnies, you went the Dogs.
Yeah.
So I pegged one back there.
That's one that I'm annoyed with because I felt like for large periods of the game, it was like the game was hanging in the balance. The Bunnies didn't really completely put them away.
No, but I feel like you've been a big Bunnies guy as well, which it surprised me. I thought you were
I
going
went
to
for
go
the double
Bunnies
bluff
there.
almost.
You did.
My own double bluff.
So that pegged it back to 4-1. We both went the Panthers. I don't think we predicted 50-10, but we both went the Panthers. You then, for some reason, went the Dragons.
For some reason. And we're going to quickly move on from that because I don't know the reasoning.
We are, which made that one 4-2. We both went the Broncos.
Yep.
You went the Sharks. Smart football from you. I backed my heart and my head.
Not willingly, by the way. Like, I went the Sharks based on the fact that I thought
you're
they were
wearing
a
Warriors hoodie.
Correct.
So you
I'm
are
a Warriors fan.
Yes.
Just based on the tipping.
Serious business, isn't it? So that pegged it to 5-2. That pushed it back out, to 5-2. I went the Knights there against the Raiders.
I'm pretty sure I went the Raiders. Did I? I actually don't.
Yeah, you went the Raiders.
I think I
went
did,
the Knights. So that made it 5-3. And I thought I went the Tigers, but I think we both went Para. And I was on the fence.
Yeah, I think you were on the fence, and we ended up saying that's going to be the one that might be the upset, and we get all the other ones wrong. So I think we both were on Para.
Yeah, unfortunate. Should have gone with
which was not far off.
Gut there. So 5-3 it ends. So we're game on. We're back.
We're game on. I'm also, for a horrible week, I got like 2 right.
Grateful to still be in the lead.
It's good to still be in the lead and still have a 2-point buffer.
I think the winner picks changes things. Like, I think the leader picking first changes things.
But didn't we just say the team that's winning?
Yeah.
Or is it the one that won the last week?
Nah, so the person that's winning overall picks. So
I pick first.
So you pick first again this week, which opens up a couple of upsets for you to go the other way, right? And in this competition this year, as it was last year, there's always multiple.
Did you change a couple of tips last week when I said a couple?
No, I was surprised that you went the other way more so. I think I stuck pretty true.
You stuck with what you were thinking?
I might have changed off the Tigers onto Para because I was wary. I shouldn't have done that.
Because you weren't sure about the picking 8 upsets.
It can go the other way, you know. So,
have we figured out, now that you're a bit closer, have we figured out what the punishment is for the
No, but we should take some
the
suggestions.
Yeah.
We should take some suggestions. There's some pretty brutal ones floating around online when you have a look. I'm not too sure if I'm keen on those. Yeah,
I haven't seen those ones.
Oh, there's some challenges out there that people are having to do out in public and things like that.
What about the milk?
Yeah, the milk mile, the milk bronco. There's all sorts of stuff like that. There's people busking in town.
Yeah, I don't mind that one.
That's actually quite good.
Can we get a We Are the Warriors?
You could do like a warrior, like a rugby league preacher, where you go to the streets and you preach like people do about other things, but it's just about how good rugby league is.
Like I just go and
like go over all your tips
people.
And how you can't believe you lost, but that this game is the best.
Yeah, we could do that. So leave a comment down below.
Get $50 or something, and then you're done. But yeah, leave a comment. Punishments, ones that are doable though, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, we don't want to I don't want to have to then not show up every game.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah, or get
because
cancelled.
if you can't show up,
well then we're in trouble. The reins are all yours. Super Rugby. We spoke last week about missed opportunity, and I genuinely feel like it was right. This was a chance for Super Rugby to get bums on seats, or even more, because I found myself with the weather, and I guess no one can predict that, but it was a bit wet and miserable over the long weekend, and when you have free time, sometimes you just want to watch sport, right? And I found myself wanting to watch Super Rugby, but either not having enough games on, or the quality of the matchups just weren't right up to it, and I think a lot of rugby fans would have found themselves watching league on the weekend when there's still a bunch of people that would pick to watch a Super Rugby game over an NRL game if they're on at the same time. But I feel like they kind of opened the window up a little bit more because the league games were good on the weekend too.
Yeah. It's such a interesting one because we've been banging on about how poor it was, and I agree. It's hard, I agree, but yeah, with the I'd pick a good Super Rugby game over an average NRL game, like your Dragons, Cowboys. I would pick
if you give me Dragons, Cows, or Hurricanes, Blues,
correct, or anything like that, I would. It's not a competition for me. I just watch whatever's on, and both normally. But it was disappointing. Just like we said, they should have just taken the Highlanders game to Queenstown, the Blues game to Whangarei, and the Crusaders game, or the Chiefs to the Mount,
Yeah.
where there's just hot spots for people going on Easter holiday. Like, it just makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
it was
And
just disappointing.
Like you said, you watch both. Like, there's nothing wrong with watching a game delayed afterwards, or even like on the Monday, say, when the game kicked off at 6 p.m., you could have watched 3 Super Rugby games on replay.
Yeah.
If they had played. And that's still people watching the game, right? While you're waiting for that Monday because you're bored.
Yeah, it just wasn't ideal. But
yeah.
the 3 games that we did get, I mean, like I was just saying to you before we started the podcast, that they were all good enough games, as in, like, they were interesting. It just wasn't, it felt a bit deflated because of what it could have been.
Yeah.
So that obviously the Crusaders win will start there.
Yes.
69-26.
Yeah.
Very good win for the Crusaders, expected. But yeah, I thought there was parts of that was some really, really good rugby.
Yeah, some great positives for them. A great way to knock up the 100th win at Apollo Projects in the final game. That was kind of poetic, right? And then for Cody Taylor to score 4 tries in his 150th was equally as poetic. But some really nice tries. You could tell they identified that area around the ruck where the Drua can get lazy. Will Jordan slicing through a few times. I think it was just overall positives. No big injuries really to come from that one for the Crusaders either. So I feel like that game ticked all the boxes that they were looking to get out of it. And I'm really keen now to watch them transition to rugby under the roof. Of course, it kicks off with Super Round in a couple of weeks. But yeah, this Crusaders team, they can play some razzle-dazzle when they want to as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, because it kind of takes away some of their hallmark aspects of their game. Well, not takes away, but lessens the effect of a few of them. But yeah, they showed up in a mood to play, and the Drua didn't exactly roll over either. They stayed in this contest, and I think the 26 points is credit to that. I thought this was going to be, I guess the high 60s was where you thought the Crusaders would be, but I was thinking around to 10 or something like that. So I think the Drua were a little bit more punchy than I expected.
Yeah, some good performances. I mean, Leicester at 13 had probably had one of his better games of the season.
Because we've been saying maybe he's just a bench guy, right?
Yeah, so
he showed up.
And a little bit of a kicking game almost to Severis. Some good stuff there. Yeah,
Sevu was good as well.
Yeah, Sevu was good. Will Jordan did not score a single try, but was just exceptional, like all around the paddock, showing his leadership skills. I know Rob Penny's talked a lot about how mature Will Jordan is now in the game and how he's sort of actually grown as a leader. So that's good to see. It could be in the leadership group for the All Blacks. Who knows?
Probably, right? Although a lot of people questioning if he's our fullback.
Yeah, there's a lot of things there. I thought it was a good performance, one that they needed, and one that was sort of, I think, always going to happen with them being their last game there. Cool little send-off. I think it all went to plan. Cody Taylor, shit, does he love a try? Maul try especially.
Rolling maul. And just, what a guy, what a player, what a leader. So to mark his 150th milestone with 4 of the best. If you had him for 3 or more, I don't know what it was paying.
I didn't have him in my fantasy team either.
Oh, wow. Up against the Drua and limited opportunities.
I know.
I gave up on Super Fantasy.
Yeah, well, because I wonder why if you'd seen the
I was doing
table.
shit, but then I forgot to do my team one week. Half my team had the fucking bye, and then I just thought, nah, I'm out. So disappointing stuff from me. I'm not normally a quitter, but hey, I did on this occasion. Chiefs 42, Tahs 14. Feel like they needed this performance too. They were just far too good in the end. They got the bonus point. They shoot up the ladder there. The Tahs dropped down. I feel like their forward pack laid a platform. I thought their loose forward trio was really good. And Samapeni Finau reminded players not to run at him because he will completely iron you out. And I feel like that was his best game in a while. In a long time, because he's kind of slipped into that weird area now in terms of international footy, right? Like, he was coming off the bench for the Chiefs, gets the start, and a lot of people don't have him in their 23, or, he's kind of pushed down the pecking order a bit. On his day, he can bring a lot of attributes that the All Blacks would want, though.
Yeah, if he continues to play like that, he's got to do it more consistently, but if he can play any of the way that he played on the weekend, he'll be definitely in the conversation. Some good performances around the paddock. I'm really enjoying the Josh Lord Tupou Vai combination. I like that. I think that could be the All Blacks combination this year, depending on the Scott Barrett and how Patrick Tuipology comes back from injury.
Darry in the mix.
So there's your 4 locks. Fabian Holland, we haven't even mentioned him.
Lock depth is looking
lock depth is brilliant. Yes, it was Quintapaya, who's leading the Player of the Year in the actual Player of the Year leaderboard, is just playing exceptional rugby. Scoring tries for fun, over the ball, turnovers, just triple threat almost.
He's got that power game, right, and he's so explosive. I feel like the last year or so, his game has come on massively. He looked bloody good at centre for the All Blacks too, which is a great problem to have. But he just offers something a little bit different. Him and Tavatavanawai probably more comparable than any other midfielders in New Zealand at the moment, but they're just both direct and explosive. And I'm loving what Quinn is doing. I thought Leroy Carter looked pretty good there too at centre. Kyron played well.
Yeah, we've talked a bit about him, haven't we, and about how he hasn't really sort of hit the ground running, but it's now sort of coming to fruition a little bit.
Yeah, I thought Xavier Rowe and Josh Jacob controlled the game well as well too.
Without Damien McKenzie.
Yeah, without D-Mac. So some real positives there for the Chiefs, and they got exactly what they needed out of this game.
And the Waratahs just continued to be a myth.
Yeah, and
just inconsistent, right?
On the road myth,
100%.
They picked up a couple of nice little wins away.
Canberra last week, the week before, which was a good win,
but
admittedly.
Yeah, they're a tough team to work out. I don't think even they know what they're going to dish up. So tough for punting, that one. And speaking of tough for punting, I did not see this coming. The Western Force, 42 points to 19 over the Reds in Brisbane. I was ready to declare the Reds as top 4, a top 4 football side, certainly a top 6 football side, but they did not look like that on the weekend. They were pretty bang average. The Force, on the other hand, played really well. I went back and watched the highlights of this game just to watch how Zach Lomax went. Unfortunately, he was a late pullout, but I found myself pleasantly surprised with the performance from the Force. Jeez, look, they got it right and they played some good footy.
Oh, I agree. I think that it's surprising, really, that we didn't expect that. Like, that sort of... I don't know. I was just stumped by the Reds, really. They weren't very good against the Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought they'd have a bounce back, and it's a bit worrying for Wallabies fans. Les Kiss is their head coach of the Reds, and he's about to be the head coach of the... Yeah. Well, he's the head coach of the Reds now, and is going to be the head coach of the Wallabies, so that's a little bit worrying. So I've got some breaking news for you. Breaking news as of like 30 seconds ago. Shannon Frizell is coming home to New Zealand, locked in for 2027 with New Zealand Rugby and the Highlanders.
Wow-wee.
So... yeah, I'll just get this release up, but I've just seen the social media post.
This is breaking news.
We're talking breaking news.
Highlanders, one of our owners coming home. Wow.
Which is a big in. Does it solve New Zealand's issue at number 6, if you would say it's an issue?
Yeah, well, we have players there capable, but no one's really owned the jersey, have they? And Shannon Frizell is an absolute enforcer. So... yeah, he is a great body to have back and available, and I'm excited to see how this plays out for sure. This is great to see. That is the breaking news you want.
Yeah.
Is that our Michelob moment?
Could be.
Shannon Frizell, welcome home. Big body, physical, great skill set, still been playing some good code overseas, and I think he ticks what Dave Rennie and what no bullshit Barnes would want as well, a no bullshit footballer who is an enforcer. Jeez, it's good to get these guys back, right? World Cup year, that shows the lure of the black jersey is still well and truly there.
Yeah, especially in World Cup year, and he's only 32. A lot of players go away from New Zealand, and people sort of assume that they're too old to compete at All Black level, and that's them done.
Yep.
But it's cool to see that you can go over to Japan, you can now come back, and you're still eligible, you're still old enough. Maybe he's had a conversation with Dave Rennie. If you think about it now, Shannon Frizell, where does he sort of sit in the picture? He's played 68 tests for the All Blacks.
He would be right up there. It's interesting the Landers have announced it.
Oh, no, he hasn't.
Before the All Blacks have.
Yeah, 100%. He's played 68 games for the Highlanders.
Oh, there
I'll just
you go.
check how many.
I was going to say, that's a lot of tests.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they've jumped the gun, maybe, the Landers. They've announced it before the All Blacks have, but really rate it. I wouldn't be surprised if Dave Rennie has been working the blower, because he has said that, he is open and he's not opposed to overseas players. So he's kind of mentioned that whole eligibility thing he's not a huge fan of either. And I know he's been talking to a few guys that are playing in Japan. So, yeah.
He could have had a yarn with Richie Moe. He could have had a yarn with Shannon Frizell while he's over there.
Yeah, so, look, Brodie Retallick, another name which keeps popping up. Hopefully, Shannon's the first of many. Even if he doesn't get picked, right? It's great.
Experience.
And it's competition. Like, this is going to bring the best out of other loose forwards as well. Someone like a Wallace Atiti in that now, who's been really injury hamstrung.
33 tests for Shannon Frizell in the All Blacks, 8 tries. So, he's no slouch. Like, he was exactly what the All Blacks needed.
Yeah.
I think in the last couple of years, it's what they've maybe been missing. But like I said earlier, I really like the transition of actually showing that there is that Japan, and then you can come back and still offer. And he's only 32. Like, there'd be players in this All Blacks team that are way older than that, we think that are in their prime.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, a lot of the South African forwards as well are a lot older than 32.
Yeah.
So
he's gone away. He's made his money. He's come back now. I wouldn't have minded seeing him play for Moana, but he is a very proud Landers man, right? So this is exciting stuff. And yeah, it could be the Rennie effect. It could just be World Cup, or whatever it is. We want more of this. So welcome back, Shannon Frizell. What
Happy
a way to
Michelob
kind of
moment.
finish the pod with a Michelob moment that is breaking news. My Michelob moment was going to be that Easter Monday game and going to Golden Point. It fully forgot to mention it. Then it was going to be Cody Taylor. Forgot to mention it there.
I thought it was almost your opposite of a Michelob moment would be Adam Pompey facing suspension. We haven't really touched on that.
Yeah.
Can we quickly just say of how stupid that is?
As a first five that missed many a tackle, I can identify poor tackle technique when I see it. And that's exactly what that was. I get raising a knee extremely dangerous.
No complaints, though.
Yeah, I don't think he was doing that. Like, you didn't see Britain Nikora or the Sharks lads react crazily. I get Nikora, or he had a broken nose going into this. So when he came out of the tackle holding his nose, I just thought he had banged it. He had his head in front. Like, you're taught cheek on cheek. Your face cheek on their ass cheek or their hip. That's how you tackle. You're not taught knee to nose. No one has ever told you to tackle knee to nose.
Or run that way, like,
exactly. Or,
as a ball carrier.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. He was just straight out running, and then he tried to bump him, but to me, if his knee had got above his hip, then you could say that he's raised it. I don't think he did. I think if Reece Walsh's incident goes unpunished, that was a knee to the nose or face as well, then I don't see how Wets can be up for 1 to 2 weeks. I just find it ridiculous. And then the Healy thing, that was fucked too. Like, how he had to go off for an HIA after a headshot, but it wasn't a penalty, is truly beyond me. And that was a frustrating one, although we won the penalty count 10-1. So I'm not frustrated at the refereeing. I'm just frustrated at the judiciary and the bunker who decided that that wasn't a high shot. I thought that was a penalty every day of the week.
Yep, 100%. And just a quick update, Oscar Goodman.
Yes.
So we talked about Charlisse Ledger-Walker, how
Yep.
she's won the national title. Another Kiwi, Oscar Goodman, is playing currently for Michigan against UConn as we speak. So good luck to him. It's 11-10 currently in the first quarter, only about 2.5 minutes played. I think he's on the bench. He's played 0 minutes so far, obviously only 2 minutes in.
Yeah.
But good luck to him. That would be 2 champions if they win in the space of 2 days, and it's something that I believe only
Was it
Jack Salt?
Yeah.
And I think there's one other that have done it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who,
I
but
thought 2019 Jack Salt was the only
it might
one.
be the only one. But
To
I know
win, maybe.
maybe to win.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. But I know Jack Salt was the last one.
Imagine to go the
apart from
Kiwi
Charlisse,
double.
the Kiwi double in the space of 2 days would be
And
incredible.
Frizell back.
Wow, what a podcast.
Wow, what a podcast. But of course, catch you back here. Short turnaround. See you Thursday, of course, public holiday, so we push this one to your Tuesday. But we see you back here Thursday for your preview pod. Go well.